of sustainable development. Principle. Sustainable development principle എന്താണ്? A few components of sustainable development which are important are the follows. Conservation of ecosystem, sustainable development of society. So first one is conservation of ecosystem. The main aim of sustainable development is conserve the earth resources. It is to make the ecological system steady. Prevention of ecosystem including aquatic ecosystem is necessary for the purpose and aim. Sustainable development of society. Population growth increase the demands for goods and services. Sustainability of social depends on the availability of decent abode, balanced diet, advocate of health service, employment and quality education, access to health and education are important for the people in the society. Conservation of biodiversity. It is important to ensure conservation of all the living species in the world. People should learn to conserve the natural resources in order to protect them. Both the Global Biodiversity Outlook in September 2020, the Living Planets Index (LPI) of World Wildlife Fund WWF is September 2020 called the drastic and urgent action to halt the biodiversity loss and resource ecosystem before it is too late. Next is population control. Population growth increases the demands of goods and services, and if it remains unchanged, it would imply increasing environmental damage. The world population is growing at about 1.7% annually, almost an addition of 100 million a year. This rapid population growth uh, exacerbate the mutual reinforcing effect of poverty and environment decay. Yet environmental degradation can also to poverty yet environment degradation can also increase in population growth. Das Gupta is the view that children are produced not only for earning money secure old age but also for increasing workforce. So population control and management are essential for sustainable development. Conservation of human resources. Human resources HR is big potential for sustainable development. Therefore, human resources are to be developed by providing education, healthcare, and training. Human resource contribute immensely of sustainable development. Efficient HR meaning effective decision making on environmental protection. Encouraging citizen participation. The sustainable development process will acquire a full meaning if the citizen participate fully in the implementation of sustainable development programs. COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted just how environmental balance is important, especially as we uh, endeavors to build to resilient economic and communities. The COVID 19 pandemic has provided a strange and painful reminder for criticality of the concept of sustainable development. Promotion of international coordination and cooperation. More strategic international action is needed to protect biological diversity. Solution to international environment issue must be based upon common principles and rules of collaborations among independent national backed up by persuasion and negotiation. Due to the common international concern for biological resource, there is a strong case for more international effort to provide funding and technological assistance to developing countries. The Union Environment Ministry India on 31st July 2020 called the sharing of the best practices among BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. National towards the Sustainable Development Goals. Features. To fulfill the scope and objectives of sustainable development, these features need to be implemented while planning for economic development. Some of the steps are minimizing the release of greenhouse gases, which directly contribute towards global warming and air pollution. Number two, emphasize on eco-friendly practices such as building green architecture. Number three, focusing on a implementing project using renewable energy sources like sun, wind, water, etc. Number four, preservation of natural resources while respecting the protecting the natural habitats of life formed and organisms. And number five, containing the rate of consumption for surpassing the production of renewable sources. Check your progress using the space given below for your answer. Check your answer with those given at the end of the unit. Examine the scope of sustainable development. Social dimension. Number two, economic dimension. Number three, environmental dimension. And number four, institutional dimension. Explain the principles and future of sustainable development. Number one, conservation of ecosystem. Number two, sustainable development of society. Number three, conservation of biodiversity. Number four, population control. Number five, preservation of human resource. Number six, encouraging citizen participation. And number seven, promotion of international coordination. And number eight, minimizing the release of greenhouse gases. And number nine, eco-friendly construction practice. And number 10, containing the rate of consumption. Conclusion. Thus, we can say that traditional economic and industrial approaches are often in competition with sustainable development. A basic question today, therefore, is not whether to choose between industrialization and environment. The question now resolves around the selected patterns of development and improve the quality of environment. International economic cooperation is vital in this context. However, the describable outcomes will not be achieved unless national recognizing the crucial relationship between sound environmental management and international economic development. What is required is more integrated approach towards the evolving international environmental system, which responds adequately to the development needs of third world country in the context of growing environmental despoliation. Growth and economic well-being are essential prerequisites for the prosperity, and this turn depends on the implementation of policies and programs that envisage sustainable development, improve environment. We need to remember what Mahatma Gandhi also near 100 years ago, that there is enough in nature to the meet the human needs but not human grade. It can be reiterated for all the time to come. Sustained development is needed a significant force to meet human needs and aspirations in context of growing environmental crisis. Glossary. Biodiversity. What is meant by biodiversity? It means the vast varieties of life on earth. It refers to everything including plants, bacteria, animals and humans. Deforestation. Permanent revolve the trees to make way to the development activities. Development. It is a process to improve the well-being of the people. It is about raising the standard of living of the people, improve the education and health, and also given them new and equal opportunity for richer and more variety life. Sustainability. It means meeting the present need without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. Environment. It is the sum total of all social, biological, physical, or chemical factors which compound the surrounding of a human being. Major components of sustainable development. Objectives, introduction, components of sustainable development, social component of sustainable development, economical component of sustainable development, environmental component of sustainable development, conclusion, glossary, reference, answer, check your progress. After the reading unit, you should be able to describe the social component of sustainable development, discuss the economic component of sustainable development, and examine the environmental component of sustainable development. Introduction. Sustainable development came into operation when developing the administration field to the deliver as per the changing economic and social environment. Sustainable development would never have reached where it has now is developed the administration had not happened, and it can be considered a facilitator of sustainable development. The word sustainable used the first used by uh, Hans Karlovis is in his publication Nachal Tendencies on Sustainable Development, Forestry. Uh, Subsequently, the concept of sustainable development was introduced in the Brundtland Report by United Nations Environment Commission, chaired by Gro Harlem Brundtland. In the then Prime Minister of Norway, the concept conveys the environment as its basic premise. Sustainable development was defined as the develop the meet the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. We know this is by now the report came to the popularity from the Broadland report that has two main concepts that are the fundamentally tied to the process of sustainable management of the earth resource. Number one, the basic needs of humanity. The needs of food, cloth, shelter, and job must be met. This involves the first of all paying attention to the largely unmet need to the world poor, which should be given unwavering priorities. Number two, limits to the development. The limits of development are not absolute by the are imposed by the present states of technology and social organization and by their impact upon environmental resource and the biosphere ability to the absorb the effect of human activities. The technological and social organization can be both managed and improved to make way for the new era of economical growth. The 1992 United Nations Conference on Environmental and Development held in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, attracted the attention of the government, international agencies, and non-governmental organizations around the world. The Agenda 21 adopted the conference represent a goal conceiving the political committees at the highest level on the social economic development and environmental cooperation. The components of sustainable development are economic, social, and environment. The term sustainable refers to the bridge of the gap between the development and the environment, keeping in view these components in this unit. The three components of sustainable development will be discussed in detail. Components of sustainable development. The components of sustainable development are also called three pillars, which must be considered together: the society, the economy, the environment. The society means people, the economy means economical business that things, and the environment means habitat. The basic ideas internship among the people, habit and economic system. We depends on the environment for the existence. It provide us with the uh, it provide us with the soil, food, water, oxygen, etc. Our population would not be how to survive without these basic of life. The healthy biosphere building a stable society without which there was be unrest, poverty and diseases. The social well-being and economic well-being feed off each other. The Agenda 21 900 pages document which focus on the following four dimension strategies in the three pillars of sustainable development. Number 1, social and economic dimension, fighting poverty and promoting sustainable urban planning. Number 2, conservation and management of resource, safeguarding the ocean, fishes of the combating reforestation. Number 3, major groups, strength the role of major groups like women, local government and NGOs, and means of implementation, transferring environmentally sound technology. Sustainable development is hence a process of changing rather than the means for the study and analysis of the relationship. In order to identify the solution, it is a conceptual framework, a process, and end goals all the same time. Social components of sustainable development. In the first unit, we have to mention about social, economic, and environmental components of dimension of sustainable development. In this unit, we will study them the further detail. The social components include the social as well as human elements needed to achieve the sustainability. It aims at the building social culture stability and preventing the social ill of alienation in our times. The common mass are frustrated cause of lack of job satisfaction and understanding of the nature of their work. There are no absolute value in an age of relativism and the unpredictability of the future due to the diseases in right large. The globe has seen a numbers of viruses like this Ebola, Zika, SARS, MERS, swine flu, and now COVID-19. Social sustainability compare of issue like social equality, health equality, community development, human rights, social responsibility, and labor rights in a way all domain of economy and environment and also social become they affect the social society. Sustainable societies are equitable, diverse, connected, and democratic with an aim of providing good quality of life. Dimensions of social sustainable development. Dimensions of social sustainable development. Since the three pillars of sustainable development were defined, the world has come to long way. The United Nations formulated 17 sustainable development goal SDGs in 2015, covering the most relevant area which 193 members nations have pledged their support. The United Nations Research Institute for Social Development UNRISCD developed the program on social dimension of sustainable development, which focus on understanding, analyzing, and engage with the process of policy changes that could tackle the unstable practice, climate changes, and inequalities. The entire attention to the intersectionally social, environment, and economic issue at the different level in support of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Amartya Sen has a dimension of social sustainability. Amartya Sen has the specific four dimension social sustainability. One, quality of life. It compare of various elements like affordable housing, physical and mental medical support, education and training opportunity, employment opportunity, access to safety and security. Quality of life directly refers to the well-being of individual in society. Considered a freedom because the right to basic amenities of life leads on to freedom, whether it is freedom from poverty, sickness, or literacy. Development is an integrated process of expansion of sustainable social, political, and economical freedom that connect to one another. Some aspect of the quality of life that must be considered are given below. 1. Personal heterogeneous difference. Different individuals have specific different characteristics like age, gender, illness, disability, which make their needs unique. Some problems may not be addressed with equality decided. Number two, environmental diversity. The needs of individual were due to the environmental condition that they are affected by, like cold weather, hot weather, and rainfall. Pollution and adhere the environmental condition change the quality of life of people. Number three, social climate. Crime, violence, education facility, community, relationship, and public facilitator affect the level of social capital, which influence the quality of life. Number four, relation aspect. Quality of life is influenced by the relation present in the community, which are the based on culture, customs, and norms. Clothing, behavior, self-respect are some indicator which determines how to person lives in a community. Income distribution. The income distribution within a family affect the well-being or the freedom of the final member. There are numerous factors that affect the quality of life in society, but it is very important to the content make effort toward improving it is so that human development is achieved. The issue that are faced in doing are financial conservatism, that is the well of providing funding of social benefit. Most of the government budget facilitate the military expansions instead of spending more on literacy on health. Equality and diversity. Sustainable development SD has raised the level of indicator formed to measure the sustainable of development process by each country region wise the international agency like UN, but it has raised the level of inequalities between rich and poor. The disadvantages and poor have integrated the number all over the world. The Agenda 21 has made the developed countries given 0.15 percentage their gross domestic product GDP in the developing, underdeveloped, less developed economy. However, the maximum they have been given the mercy 0.7% the GDP. If the percentage of aid is increased, it is believed that it will considerably decrease the poverty globally. Equality dimension leads to the next social dimension of diversity because the DASA agenda section of society belongs to the diverse group of population. National budget determine the solution of reduce the imbalance among diverse group to help the vulnerable. For example, India has a reservation quota system which make provision to educate the disadvantages and provide employment them. Social cohesion. Social cohesion is a society means the social work towards well-being of the people. Well-being can be achieved through the easy access to people and public institution to avail benefit. So that they can also contribute to the society. For example, if people get registered on the employment exchange for a government, they can avail employment opportunity. Some of the important issues that need attention in order to have social cohesion within any group are: number one, the sense of belonging of group in the border community. Number two, the level of participation of group in social activities. Number three, to understand and learn access of public and civil institution. And last one, contribution of the group to the society. Democracy and governance. Social sustainability can be better achieved in national that follow democratic governance. The programs made by the government require appropriate budget and resource, which are essentially be possible democratic society. Amrita Sen was the categorized about individual have needs, but fact cannot to ignore that they have to valuable generation that were mentioned in the definition of SD cannot be considered as having homogeneous taste or preference. Social issues, however, cannot be separated from the economic or environmental concern. The present world has become one of the possessive individualism with agreement among countries of trade like the General Agreement on the Trade and the Service and the Trade in Intellectual Properties Rights International Organization are work for development. But in the name of the liberalization or trade, communities are the in the industry result in loss of capability and capacity. This concern has given rise to the emerge of concept of collective right over common resource of water, distribution and vegetation. Check your progress one using the space given below and you are answering. Write a short note of different components in sustainable development. Write a short note different components of sustainable development. Number one, sustained development came into operation when the development administration field developed with the regards of changing economic and social environment. Uh, describe the Brundtland report has two main concepts which are the fundamental tied to the process of sustained development: the earth resources, the basic needs of humanity, limit to the development. The term sustainability refers to the bridge the gap between developed the environment. Describe the dimension of social sustainable development. The social components include the social as well as the human elements to achieve the sustainability with an aim to build the social culture and stability and prevent the social ill of alienation in our times. Number two, dimension of social sustainable development include quality of life, equality and diversity, social cohesion, democracy and governance. Economic components of sustainable development. Development became a major concern of the development nation after the second half of the 20th century, when most of the nation had achieved freedom from the imperial force in like UK, Japan, Spain and Germany. Economic development has a popular policy agenda across the world and as in offshore development economic emerged as a new discipline in a broadly focus on the social, economic and political issues encountered in the development process. Globally, most countries have made programs in a gross domestic product or GDP. The Human Development Index HDI, however, there have been some negative growth also in Africa. The problem lies in the rising income inequalities, the negative impact of development of environment and the existing social instruction. Development has come at the very highest cost which involves environmental degradation, displaced people, loss of culture and traditional heritage. The highest environmental and social costs have been neglected the economical gain. Now people are become aware of these adverse effects of the development, which have resulted in numerous protests across the globe. The pressure on the industry and government has led them to the rethink policy and strategy. They could lead to the sustainable development. Let us try to understand economic components of sustainable development through the following factors. Exponential era. Climate changes is not the only environmental concern of 21st century. The next 30 to 40 years would have the face worse problem due to the massive and exponential increasing in the population across the world. Water, food shortage and poverty would lead to rise, the loss of world ecosystem, species, and the state of ocean. The 21st century in the world of rapid changes, especially in the financial sector. The the slide of even in one concern of the world's and the global economy, neither in the free fall or an unexpected boom. Frequently, fluctuation in oil prices send economic into the turbulence. This has an immediate effect on the society as well. The statistics of poor people who cannot afford even one square meal a day assault as well as all the effort to arrest the situation remains unfruitful. The shocking and the growing inequality between rich and poor is worse in the case of poverty elimination. Poverty affects the social and environmental components equally because the poor cannot find sustainable livelihood. They rely on the natural resources like wood or fuel and fish or surveying, etc., putting more burden and pressure on the planet. Additionally, the problem of terrorism, proceed, uh, straight violence, COVID pandemic, AIDS, food security, and nuclear proliferation was perception the problem exponentially. Role of industry. Role of industry. Large private industries have capital era of technology. Now, how finance and politics can be industrialized the achievement suitable, sustainable development. They have the ability to dipole human resource that can think of sustainable solutions to the production of goods and service. The more sustainable options the people gen, the more they would become aware opt for them. They can work our solutions to keep their organization profitable and contribute to keep the ecosystem viable. Corporate social responsibility in one such solution. Economic sustainability. An economic sustainability system must be able to produce goods and services on the continuous basis of maintain manageable level of government and external debates and avoid extreme sectoral imbalance with damage agriculture and industrial production. Broadly speaking, sustainable can be defined a maximum of welfare over time from the economic perspective. Human welfare including adequate access to food, clothing, housing, transportation, health and education service, etc. This definition embeds the concept of ecosystem sustainability to measurable single dimension indicator, although it has many complexity of reductionist, simplistic and point of view. Sustained development can be operationalized the term of conservation of natural capital with respect to renewable and non-renewable resources given below. Renewable resources. Resource consumption can be limited to sustain the yield level. The process from non-renewable resource exploitation must be reinvested to the renewable natural capital. This would help in the maintaining continuous use of the natural capital. Another point of view is straight to of economic development with the depletion of natural resources. The view does not talk about conservation but emphasizes the fact that if the economic values of progress, for example, building factories by cutting forests, is more than the loss of losing forest land, then is economically sustainable. However, the viewpoint does not hold well with the sustainable development that planet required, hence the applicable of safe minimum standard can help the protection of natural resources. The society can formulate regulation regarding the magnitude of the impact of natural resource beyond the limit of the cost and indivisible resources beyond the limits of cost and reversibility. And formula regarding magnitude of impact of natural resources beyond a limit of cost and reliability. Economic theory and policy. Government must consider the following three essential to achieve the sustainability. One, moral imperatives. Number two, public decision making and the formation of social value. In the economic theory, market and pricing hold the important position, but the end goal can be planned by the social decision making process. The present market are seeing the surge in sustainable and circular economy. Economic theory and policy. Government must consider the following three essential achievements of moral empathy, public decision making, and formal social values. In economic theory, market pricing hold important position, uh, but the ending goals can be planned by social decision making process. The present marketing are seeing surge in the sustainable crucial economy. Circular economy. In the crucial economy base, the pollution crucial economy. The crucial economy, waste population do not exist by the design, product and materials. Natural materials are used in the production of goods which are regenerated by natural system. It is used green financing, which means the government using involving restriction critical section and acceptability existing environmental plan, etc. Uh, circulate the economic and sustainable differ in the fact formed focusing on the environmental performance improvement rather than taking holistic view of three components: social, economical and environmental. Sustainability take into account all three aspects. There are more than 100 of definition of circular economy with the different meanings of different stakeholders. But the common factors for all of them, the three R's. Circular economy employs three tenets are there are reduce, reuse and recycle. They refer the reducing use of plastic and other non-biodegradable systems, reusing product, recycling them. There are various implementation 3Rs. Starchly like dropping your cloth in some designation place so that they are recycled by washing and sharding process and shaping into new cloths. The same it is case in mobile phone which can be refurnished by saving the workable parts to make new fonts. It can be best explained in the figure of given below. Circular economy. Use of green product, non-toxic and recyclable. Cleaner production using of fewer resources, mainly biodegradable. Better service, expectation of lifespan of production. Collection of collection and collect end of life productive remains factors. Recycle waste, reuse and resource. Contribution on competition. The figure given here explains how the economy as uh, environmental responsibility, positive effect society. The three components are integrated of the condition, existence and well-being of the human race. Everybody wins because natural resources are preserved. The economy becomes resilience and social life. Improve become maintaining the peace and human rights. Then societies are commonly valuable. People understand other issues like environmental concern and social well-being and better way. Hence, economic sustainability decisions are made in the most equitable and financial sound way.
ഞാൻ പഠിക്കുള്ളൂ എന്ത് സാറാ എന്താണ്
Figure given explain how to economy can be environmental responsibility and positively affect society. The three components are engaged for the condition, continuous existence and well-being of the human race. Everybody wins because natural resources are preserved. The economy become resilience and social life improve become maintenance of peace and human rights. When societies are economically viable, people understand other issues like environmental concern and social well-being in better way. Hence, economic sustainability decisions are made in the most equitable and factual sound way. Core principle of sustainable livelihood. A livelihood sustainability when it can cope with the recovers from the stress and shocks of enhanced capabilities and assist both now in the future. Without understanding the natural resource base, it is important to develop effective local institutions and deliver goods and services, which include government agencies, civil society organizations, and private sectors. Community capacity build the institutional strength are two major efforts in the creating sustainable livelihoods. It has been recommended under the program of Achievement of Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) the sustainability livelihood framework must be the conceptual in holistic way by every government. The Department of International Development Sustainable Development Approach has development poverty focused development framework which is based on the following core principles. People centered. There must be an understanding of the issue that concern the people most keeping in view of following points different between various group of people. Alignment the framework of sustainable development, livelihood with the culture of people and the ability of the people adapt. Responsibility and participatory. The community must be determined, become participate in the exercise of prioritize livelihoods and external agency which execute the framework of sustainable livelihood should be established process to the responsibility of the poor. Multi-level. Elimination of reducing poverty, gigastic, which can only be carried by the micro as well as micro levels. Micro levels include active that will provide sustainable livelihoods, while the micro level compares of the structure and process that will enable people to build their capacity and ability accordingly. Partnership. Public sector cannot success in formulated planning of sustainable livelihoods its own, but has to work in the partnership with the private sector and non-government organization. Dynamic. This is an age of rapidly uh, changes when the government agency must be dynamic resource such as changing. The need to keep in mind and amendments in the frame of the policy. Policies, framework and policies. Sustainable. Since the issue under the study of sustainable livelihoods are focusing most on the term sustainable, there are four key dimensions make in livelihood sustainable, which are economic, institutional, social, and environmental. These principles must be kept in mind while formulating the framework of sustainable livelihood. Sustainable corporate responsibility. The private sectors can be a major player in the work towards the sustainable development by implementation sustainable policies as a part of their social community responsibility. Local communities can enhance the program and activities that are concerned with the sustainability of plants, planets of examples, clean rice to lake and river. There's area planting trees. They can reap benefit of good imagine, goodwill, and piece of publicity campaigns by the displays, the banners, sponsoring the events, the philanthropic aspect of the corporate social responsibility can be taken advantage of making strategies regarding climate changes and sustainability. Regulations and corruption. The government make laws and regulations regarding the environment, but the less developed economic do not have any capacity of reinforcement. Corruption also hinder the effort of the towards the environmental protection as it helps the industrial to have access to the permit and license. Corporation handle the global sustainable supply chains, uh, resulting the fake data and distribution the supply of the sustainable end product. For example, in the health sector, medicine that are supposed to be given for free to patient belong to the poor sector of the society and sold in the black market while the patients had to buy out of their own pocket. There they had to shelter affordable. Hence, health and well-being are the risk of corruption in public health institution is not urgent address. Without meaningful action against corruption, progress towards the achievement to other goals of sustainable development would come extremely limited, especially economic growth would suffer. Corruption thrives more in countries where the transparency, accountability, and institution are weak. In undermines the legendary mark of the people in public institution, while adversely impact the diversity of public service and goods. These conditions are relevant to the achievement of economic sustainability. Many international agencies like the Asian Development by ADB, Organization of Economic Coordination Development OECD, Transparency International and the World Economy Forum has made anti-corruption strategies. They have developed the corruption perception index to rank countries on the level of corruption so that they can be pushed to implement their anti-corruption policies strategies. Environmental components of sustainable development. The third component of sustainable development is environment, which is being to damage due to the adverse effect of economic growth and social advocacies. The three components overlap each other because they are closely interlinked. Chief fuel energy, coal, petrol, and natural gases has a undoubtedly leads to the economic growth and highest speed, but as a result has a damaged the environment by the producing billions of tons of greenhouse GHGs. This is one of the major causes of climate changes in the present times. Over organizedly, the Johannesburg Plan implementation of sustainable development emphasis on number one, the sustainable use to the biomass and energy. Number two, changing the instability patterns of consumption and production, especially in the development countries. Number three, moving towards cleaner production and eco efficiency. Number 4, inclusion of private companion and authorities. Number 5, focus area include transport, waste and chemicals. Number 6, protection and manage the natural resource and basics of economic and social development. Number 7, improvement of health infrastructure deals with the adverse impact of environment damage. Number 8, integration of economic and social in globally world. Number 9, assist small island development state with technology, capacity building, coastal biodiversity, etc. Number 10, regional effort in Africa and Latin America and means of implementation and institutional frame upgradation. Uh, the Brunner Report was World Commission Environment and Development 1987 drew the attention of the interconnection of between sustainable development and poverty reduction, with the latter being condition for the environmental protection and input towards the sustainable development. There in an integrated relationship between sustainable development and environment which demands they way minimize the adverse affect the human activities in environment. Sustainable ecological perspective refers to the eco development which will help the safeguard the biosphere. That is, biodiversity improve the quality of life and protect the environment. There are three basic factors the guide of eco development. Number one, human economic activities is carried out large ecosystem, but the side effects are pollution and natural resource dispute. Number two, the exponential growth and population is a second factor in the depletion of the natural causes and increasing the waste volume. And number three, environmental changes are reversible and result of economic development. Hence, sustainable development requires the integration of environment concern into social economic decision making, policy making in the popular sector in employing the indicators of the impact of environment. For example, in the construction of highway, we prevent stakeholders is ask the plants, trees, or the follows in the divert. This can be called the trade off between the development and the environment. Integration through Sustainable Development Goal SDGs. In the 2030 Agenda of Sustainable Development Straight achieve sustainable development in the three dimensions: economic, social, and environmental in the balanced and integrated manner. The UN Economic and Social Commission for Asia and specific escape emphasizes the need for policies shift that promote integration. Fundamental policies. The basic condition of social justice, economic sustainability must become fundamental policy object rather than marginalized object. Long-term benefit. They must be shifted for the predominantly short-term policy horizon on the seek long-term benefit for all. Number replacement GDP. The focus gross domestic product GDP is a measure of the process should be replaced by the material the incomes of three dimensional sustainable development. Limited resource. Public policy must recognize the resource. The planned are not limited and the resource constraint can be the way the addressing by the technology. These type of policy shift will address the issue public decision making regarding the implementation policy SDG. If the shift of the policy are not taken into account, then the navigate extraneous or externalized in form of pollution, assumption waste, and social clash manifest themselves. However, this can be done only by the strength institutional framework and capacity building in the government sector. Policies, committees, and inclusive vision for the future can lead to sustainable development. These changes that began to faced by the government and agenda setting policy, formulation policy implementation, and policy monitoring evaluation. Input output analysis has been the use of quantitative analysis framework suitable for integration of social, economic, and environmental dimensions of investment. Trade and related economic activities. The input are the natural resources and capital, while the output are the goods and service produced. The balance between two will result in this type of integration and to achieve the SDG. Countries like New Zealand has been using the integrated approach which includes a multiple integration. Write the short note on economical component sustainable development. The pressure to industrial government has led to the rethinking about the policy and strategy that can lead to sustainable development. Climate change is not only the environmental concern. 21st century, the next 30 to 40 years will face the worst problem due to the massive exploitation, increasing the population across in the world. Water, food shortage, poverty will lead to the loss of world economic issues. Number three, large private industries has capital area of ecology known as financial and politics. That can be industry achieve the sustained development. They have the ability to employ the human resource who can think sustainable solution and production goods and service. Number four, an economic sustainable system must be able to produce goods and services on a continuous basis of maintaining manageable levels, government and external debates, and avoid external sectors imbalance which damage agriculture industrial production. Number 5. The government must consider certain essential to achieve the sustainability, more imperative public decision making, and the formula social values. Examine the importance of circular economy in sustainable development. In a circular economy, waste the pollution do not exist. That is same. Production and materials. Natural materials are not used in the production of goods which are regarding the natural system. It is used with green financial, which means that our government use innovation in instruction critical sector, accelerator existing environment plans, etc. Circular economy employs the three tenets of R that are reduce, reuse, and recycle. It refers to reducing the use of plastic, reusing products, and recycling them. Describe the environmental components of sustainable development. The major components of sustainable development is environmental protection, which is being damaged due to the adverse effect of the economic growth and social inequality. Embassy of Johannesburg plan is implementation of sustainable development with regard to the environmental components, growth and environment, integration of through the sustainable development goals. Conclusion. Sustainable development can be achieved through the integration of the three compound dimensions, namely economic, social, and environmental. Many development agencies are adopt the green economic model, which focus on the sustainable development, so that human economy, social operation within the defined economic limits. Quantitative sensors are novel was to address the issues of sustainable development, as they are particularly focused alternative facility input the quantitative analysis. For example, senior creation of the explore the futures of food production and access to food, many increasing technology, feasible assumption about clothing yield gap, increasing irrigation, what was the efficiency assumption about democratic tradition, human capital development, increasing access of education rate of economic development countries, assumption of a particular level of global warming, the government produce started including the company sustainable in the policies budget. The United Budget India formulated the budget per the guidance estimate. In 17 SDH in the state of the following suitable in their budget formation. The unit described this perception in the institute. Agenda 21. The Agenda 21 in 900-page document is focused on the certain documents in the strength, the three pillars of sustained development, social and economic dimension, conservation and management resource, major growth and meaning exploration era. This is the exploration era of 30 to 40 years was faced was problem due to the massive and increasing in the population across the world. Water and food shortage and provide will easy rise loss of world ecosystem and species. General agreement in the tradition service. It is a test of the World Organization (WHO), which was the implemented January 1995. The trade of creating extent of the multi-trade tradition in the system of service sector. Personal heterogeneous difference. Different individual have specific different characteristics like age, gender, illness, disability, which make us needs unique. Quality of life. Incorporation of various elements of effort holding fees, the mental medical support, education training opportunity, employment opportunity, access to support, safety and secure quality life dimension refers to the well-being individual in a society. Social cohesion. Social cohesion is a society means the social where towards well-being the people irritated to their social status. Sustained development. Sustained development has been defined the development that meets the needs of present without compromising ability of future generation to meet their own needs. It is the most popular definition in the report. Sustained development goals. The United Nations formulated Sustained Development Goals (SDGs) in 2015, covering the most relevant areas which 193 members of nation plus their significant support areas which support sustainable livelihood. A livelihood sustainable when it is cope with and recover from the stress and shock of environment, enhance the capabilities and assess both now and future without understanding natural resources. Trade in the intellectual property rights. It is essential to minimize standards for the availability scope using of 7 forms of intellectual property, namely copyrights, tradition, geographical indication, patents, etc.